What's going on, everybody? It's Dan Moonshine, the Hillbilly Hellraiser. How you doing? I'm doing all right. It's been a busy, productive day, and things are going well. Working out and doing my normal stuff. But anyhow, you didn't come here to hear all that mindless pablum, all my day-to-day activities. What you came here for is what's in the title, and what's in the title? I went to a show recently. The show I went to was Pentagram. They played here locally in Tampa at the Brass Mug. It was very cool. I was super excited. Pentagram is one of my favorite bands on the planet. They have been on my bucket list of bands that I've wanted to see for the longest time. If you're not familiar with Pentagram, Pentagram is a four-piece doom act. They are one of the most important and potentially influential bands in heavy metal as far as underground music goes, heavy metal, uh, fronted by heavy metal's great grizzled, grimy geezer grandpa, Bobby Liebling. I mean, he's a unique figure within the annals of history in heavy rock and hard rock and heavy metal in music. He's got a very sordid and controversial past. That's putting it mildly. Uh, but through it all, he's always been like the driving force behind Pentagram. He's been compared in the past to the United States version of Ozzy Osbourne. That's probably apt. And but along the way, they've released a ton of good music, like very iconic stuff from the self-titled, which later got renamed Relentless, Day of Reckoning, Be Forewarned, even some of the stuff later in their discography, like Curious Volume, Last Rites, stuff like that, up to the latest one, Lightning in a Bottle. They have been a consistently solid, dependable, excellent band. At times, like I say, very influential, especially those first few albums. I mean, they're just so many good songs, and Bobby's been the driving force behind all of it. So it was very cool to see him. Very cool to see the band. Uh, I guess I could start by getting into the current version of the band is the Lightning in the Bottle lineup. It's Bobby, of course, on vocals. You got Tony Reed on guitar, Scooter Haslip on bass, Henry Vasquez, who's played in a ton of different Doom bands from Spirit Caravan to Legion of Doom. He's been in a ton of stuff. Tony and Scooter came from Mosh Generator, which I'm not really that familiar with, but doesn't matter because they're all tremendous musicians, and I'll get into it. But they all did a fantastic job. But yeah, it was really cool. I didn't think I was actually going to get to see them because I'd heard that Pentagram was coming to town, not to town, but they were coming to Florida, but they weren't coming to my neck of the woods. So then I just happened to be scrolling on the internet and I saw an announcement that they were going to be in Tampa at the Brass Mug, and Brass Mug is a legendary club, and to get a legendary band is super cool. Uh, so yeah, I had to horse trade because it was on the 21st, which is a Sunday. So I had to horse trade with somebody to get the night off, and I did. I made them an offer they couldn't refuse, and yeah, so I was stoked. And I got there, and first off, it was hot as blazes the entire day. It's been really hot down here in Florida. It's probably gonna be a hot summer, but it is what it is. And get there, and the parking lot was packed, so I had to find an alternate place to park, which wasn't too much of a issue. There's a spot across. Like a plaza across the street. Just park there. Nobody ever really has any quarrel or beef with people parking there. They don't tow or anything, which is one of the main concerns with some of the clubs around here. Is everyone's always worrying about their stuff getting towed, but nobody's ever done it before. So knock on wood, it won't happen in anytime soon. So I go, wait online, get in, say hi to the door guy who's always very cool to me, recognizes me. He's always, oh, nice to see you again, and all that. So, I mean, I guess I kind of stand out like a turd in a punch bowl most places I go, looking the way I do, but it is what it is. And Went inside and probably and milled about for probably like 10 minutes, and after about 10 minutes the first band started, and it was a band called Swamp Tooth. Swamp Tooth is a sludge groove southern metal four-piece from right here in Tampa. Been around since 2021, put out an EP in 2022, album self-released in 2024 called Swamp and Roll. I didn't get any footage of them, but they did a fantastic job, very much in that stonery, sludgy. They've opened for Crowbar and I Hate God before, so you kind of get a general idea with the bands they're opening for between Crowbar and I Hate God and Pentagram. You kind of get an idea of the type of bills that they fit on. But they did a fantastic job, and I didn't have any complaints listening to them. They were cool. Um, I guess I'll take a little step back for a second. I had two things that I was two objectives I was trying to meet other than the getting to see Pentagram this night. One was test out my brand new phone. I wanted to see if it was going to work as far as getting live footage, or was it going to do the same thing that my last phone used to do and record muddled garbage. So you are all going to have to be the taste testers on this one and let me know how good the footage was. I posted one up already, so it wasn't too bad, but I'll let people decide if it's total crap or did I finally get a halfway decent phone. I have things to say about this brand new phone because it's a newer model, but I'll save that for a different rant at a different time. But me and technology are just never going to see eye to eye, and I'll kind of leave it at that. And then second was I wanted to try out my brand new earplugs. Like most people who go to concerts and most people who probably listen to a lot of heavy metal and hard rock, maybe listen to it sometimes a little too loud and listen to the loudness a little too closely to their ears. You can sustain some damage. Uh, I've always had tinnitus throughout my life. I've always had a little bit of buzzing in my ears, probably due to listening to music a little too loud with headphones when I used to carry around a Walkman in high school, and then just through the years. And then going to concerts as much as I do, and not wearing what I would consider suitable protection for my ears. So I've always had some mild tinnitus. Over the years, it's gotten a little bit worse. So it kind of like I can recall a few years back when I would sit at my computer and wonder, huh, I think my computer's going bad. It's just making this weird buzzing sound. And then sure enough, it was it wasn't the computer, it was me. It was my ears. So I've been trying to, because I like music. I like listening to music. It's one of my passions in life. I don't want to go deaf. So I'm trying to be kinder to myself and take care of myself a little bit more. So did a little research on what are good quality earplugs. And the company I came across was one called Earpiece. And that's this right here. This is the Music Pro brand. Suitable. They give you a little quiz asking what the parameters are that you're trying to use their product for. And mine is to go to concerts, particularly at small venues. But these are good for small venues. They're probably the best ones all around. They're good for everyday use, but they're especially geared towards going to shows, going to listen to concerts. If you're going to music festivals, big, large halls and amphitheaters, these are perfect. It comes with like six pair in there, like not six pair, but six total, six plugs altogether, three pair. They're cochlear, which I'm not a real huge fan of. I don't really like putting stuff in my ear, but once you set them in there properly and you put them in the proper position, I had them in all night. When I got home, I did not have the normal buzzing that anyone who's gone to a concert knows with probably way too well. The sound of the bee that you get after a show. Uh, so I really, long story short, I have no complaints. I think they do a really good job. I would recommend them to people. This is not a paid endorsement of any kind. Nobody's giving me money to say this. I'm just telling you, I picked these things up and I thought they did a really good job. So anyhow, so that was that. So Swamp Tooth got done, I went outside and got a little fresh air, grabbed some cold water because again, hot as blazes, and then shortly thereafter, Ramtha got on the stage. Ramtha is a five-piece from St. Pete, Florida. They're a death metal, deathcore mixture band. They're one of these bands. They've been around since 2023, and they've, especially this past year, have been getting a lot of buzz to them. I mean, they've been on a lot of shows. A lot of people seem to like them locally. They got a lot of fanfare. In in my opinion, I think some of it, and I'm not saying this to be a dick or to be critical or controversial or anything. I think some of it has to do with the fact that their guitar player is female, their vocalist is female, their vocalist is pretty, and not to give away the secrets of the entertainment industry, but it is a cosmetic business, and sometimes being attractive helps. So, but they're a good band. Put that aside. They are a good band. They do really well. Lots of energy. Uh, Good songs. I'm not really a big deathcore guy. I was thinking about buying a couple of CDs and send them out to people and see what they thought of them. People who are a little bit more knowledgeable or a little bit more receptive to deathcore and stuff like that. But then I was trying to be smart with my money and not piss away all my money for the week, so I didn't do that. But they did a fantastic job. They probably played for like a half hour, maybe 45 minutes, something like that, and then they were done. Broke down. Next band came on, and the next band was Florist. Florist is a four-piece from here in Tampa. They are more in the stoner doom variety, heavy psych, whatever you want to call it. They're, I guess, to use a phrase that the younger crowd would use, is very sleep coded. They killed it. They always have lots of energy, lots of the vocalist has charisma. The band is very locked in when they get playing together. They're very seasoned at what they do, and they're phenomenal. If you're a fan of heavy psych or anything along those lines, like Sleep or Hippie Death Cult, Sasquatch, any of the stuff you hear me talking about as far as like the heavy psych kind of stuff, King Buffalo, who else can I think of? Bunch of stuff like that. Caius, things like that. If you like that sort of stuff, you'll probably like Florist, but they're a fantastic band. man, they killed it. They did a fantastic job, and yeah, man, Flores kicks ass. That I enjoyed the hell out of them. So then Pentagram gets on stage. And what can I say? It was fantastic. They brought it. They killed it. They did such an amazing job. Outside of 3 songs, they opened with Live Again from Lightning in a Bottle. They did Thundercrest, which was hilarious because Bobby Liebling was doing a little between song banter about his Aunt Connie Linguist that he had met outside and was having a what for with, and nobody believed him. As far they were like kind of like, okay, cool story, Grandpa. And again, Bobby Liebling is 72 years old, so when you hear him talking about mowing down on some broad outside on the bus, you kind of tend to question what's happening. But then again, he's a rock star, so who the hell knows? I mean, there's probably someone out there who would want to have that story, but nonetheless. And then they did Walking the Sociopath, and that's what they closed the set out with. And then they came back and they did an encore. They did Forever My Queen. And they did $20 Spin. And then beyond that, they did mostly stuff off of the self-titled, off Relentless for some. They did, of course, they did The Ghoul. can see, I posted that already. As far that's the video I posted. They did they did Sign of the Wolf, which is one of my favorite Pentagram songs. The goal, actually, fun story. I'll just kind of say this. I didn't know anything about that whole meme that happened until Vincent Crowley had mentioned it on his channel back when it happened, and it was hilarious because I don't go online, like I'm not on TikTok or Instagram or anything like that. So to hear that Bobby Liebling went viral for having this crazy wild-eyed look and his hair blowing in the breeze and looking like a nutcase, it was kind of funny because I'm asking all the younger people that I know, if, hey, have you seen this? And they're going, yeah. And then I start trying to tell them the story about Bobby Liebling and Pentagram and how influential and important they are in heavy metal. And you're pretty much getting like, oh, cool story, Dad. And it's like, oh, wonderful. Thank you. I'm glad that you all care so much about something that means so much to me. I appreciate it. Beautiful. But anyhow, but yeah, they did All Your Sins. They did Relentless. I want to say they did Death Row. I'm trying to think. They might have done some other stuff off of First Days. They didn't do Walk in the Blue Light. There was a few things that I was surprised they didn't do. I wanted to hear them do some stuff off of Be Forewarned, and I was hoping they were going to do Vampire Love, but they didn't do that. That's one of my favorite songs. I think that's such a cool song. But yeah, they mostly that's what they stuck to. They stuck to the real early stuff, the hits, so to speak. And yeah, they were just they killed it. I mean, Tony Reed is a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, he's such a ripping, shredding, bluesy, just tears it up and super high energy. The whole band, even Bobby was like it was intense the entire night and they just brought it. I mean, and the crowd was with them the crowd was high energy all night despite the heat. Everybody was really into the show and enthusiastic. And at one point, Tony said he was going to kind of take it easy tonight, but everybody was being so so cool, and he was they were just feeding off the crowd like any performer does. And I'm sure the bottle of Jägermeister that they got gifted from someone in the audience, I'm sure that didn't help at all. But nonetheless, they were all having a blast, and they were all doing a great job. For a 72-year-old man, Bobby Liebling's got a lot of energy, especially for some of the, being rode hard and put away wet in a lot of the ways that he has been, with a lot of his issues and stuff like that. He's not jumping around on stage or anything like that, but he'll stand there and shimmy and he makes his crazy eyes and stuff like that. I actually, fun story, one of my coworkers, she says to me, Dan, can you get a you think you can try to get a picture of Bobby Liebling looking crazy when you're there? And I was telling somebody that yeah, all that took was basically me turning the camera on and waiting for a few seconds, and that's pretty much all I had to do because he mugs the entire night. He's quite a character. But yeah, they killed it. I mean, it was fantastic. I loved every minute of it, and I did go to the merch table. I did buy some stuff. They had some tremendous merch on sale. They had a like a satin down-filled jacket that had the lightning in a bottle cover. I'll show that to you real quick. It was that, and then which I saw some kid bought, and then I think they did the. I'm pretty sure they did this. They did the Relentless Turn to Stone logo. I'm pretty sure that that was something that they did as well. They had a bunch of posters. They had a ton of T-shirts. A lot of, I mean, Bobby's really leaned into the meme. Most of the shirts had him on it. They had one where it was like the Scarface motif, and it was him in a suit and tie, dressed like Tony Montana. That was on a poster as well. They had um they had a giant First Days Here banner, which I was very tempted to get. I was almost going to get that, but I was like, let me be smart with my money. And then they had a bunch of UV reflective posters that were unique to the tour. So I got one of those. I got a T-shirt. I'll show you those real quick. This is the T-shirt I got. Very cool. I had to wait a couple of days to show this because I broke it in at the gym the next day, so it was all skanked up. So I didn't really want to show it with sweat stains and stuff like that. But very cool stuff. It's got all the tour dates on the back. You can see that right there. So, and it's very comfortable. It's a soft style, which I love soft style tees as opposed to like the heavy Gildan type. So it's real comfortable. And then I got this poster, and I thought this was badass. And check that out. It's got all the tour dates. It's got Pentagram with Skeletor, Doom in June. Just very timely. It just seemed very appropriate to me to get that one. But they had a few different kinds that were UV reflective. And it was kind of funny because I listened to two guys, they were talking and they were talking about how the prices of merch. And then they were talking about, oh, you just wait, it'll be online, $10 cheaper. And, and it was like, yeah, I guess. But at the same time, don't you want to buy from the band? Don't you want to just help them? Because this is, it's great that you can save a couple of bucks and they'll still get some money from it. But at the same time, you can just buy it directly from them and help them get from one town to the next. Maybe that $10 that you're saving, that could go to get them a bite to eat on the way to from point A to B, or whatever the case might be. So I don't know. I get it when you're being, especially in these lean times, you're trying to be economical, but at the same time, I was like, just buy at the merch table if you're gonna buy anything. Don't be cheap like that. You're at the show. Try to do the right thing and buy from the band directly. If you're trying to buy more stuff as time goes on, I get it. But if you want to get some stuff, get it from the band, get it at the show. And they had tons of records, they had CDs, all the normal stuff, stickers and patches and things like that. The only thing I should have told them, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. If they had hand towels, it was so hot and everybody was so sweaty. If they had Pentagram logo towels that they were selling, they would have made a killing. They would have made bank on that one. But nonetheless, I'm sure they weren't really anticipating it being as hot as it was. So then show's over. Everybody started going home. Everyone started filing out. I ran into Jared from Florist. I told him how good a job they did and they killed it, and he was very appreciative. And then I went across the street and hightailed it out of there. 10 out of 10 as far as the show went. It was excellent. It was a dream come true to get to see the band. Didn't get to see them when they're in their prime, but got to see them now. It's better late than never, So that's how it went. And fun fact, a little cameo at the show. I saw Gene Palabicki was there checking out the show. Gene from Angel Corpse, Malefic Throne, Perdition Temple, numerous other projects. What's the other one that he does? It's The Devil's Mayhem is the name of the album. I can't think of the name of it, but yeah, a ton of stuff. Gene's been in a ton of stuff. Impiety with Antar from Diabolic, just ton of killer stuff. But he was there checking out the show. I don't know if anyone else was there, but he was the only face in the crowd that I saw that I recognized outside of the normal, like the local yokels. But beyond that, yeah, good times, but I've babbled on long enough. I'm sure almost a half hour talking about a show is probably way too long, but you know what you're getting when you clicked play on this one, folks. So anyhow, this is Dan. This has been Moonshine Talking. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you're new here, just checking out the channel. If you like the channel, do all the things everybody asks you to do. But if you don't, that's cool. It's no biggie. I'll try to do better next time. But yeah, man, as always, stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin upon impact. Don't forget to breathe. Everybody have a good one. Take it easy. Not sure what my next video is going to be. I think it might be, it's probably just going to be a roundup of the month. And then I'm not quite sure. I might do like I noticed a lot of people are doing like their halfway through the year favorite albums. I might do that. I might not. I don't want to just jump on a trend. And then I did a video that'll post probably by the time you see this, it'll have posted. I did a response video too. It was a video challenge that George G from George G's Room of Rock did, but I had seen it through Dennis from Analog Archives, who has he's got a killer channel. He's got great taste in music, always showing off his collection, which is amazing. And yeah, so I thought it was kind of cool to respond to that and to do my own. And you kind of get to see some of the first albums of some of the first 10 bands that I ever listened to. I did neglect to put Black Sabbath in there, but I didn't actually get any Sabbath stuff till a couple years down the road. It was mostly just me stealing my cousin's records and listening to them quite a bit was how I kind of did things. But as I said in the video, that wasn't quite as sexy as actually showing, me showing my dubbed copies off a cassette player, with the record and all that sort of thing. That's not quite as sexy as actually showing the albums. So yeah, the ones I got, that is, I think, probably as good of a list as I could come up with thinking of it. So anyhow, that's all I got for you, everybody. Once again, take it easy. Have a good one. And I'll catch you on the next video. Later.
So